Here we are closing the hatch, and we've already said our last goodbye there. And then there's Anatoly saying goodbye to us, eating a tortilla through one of the viewports on KSEVT. Or Crystal, I guess it is.
Greg and Bonnie were talking there about getting pressure checks done as we prepared for this moment. The Soyuz undocks from the Mir on the opposite end of the station and begins its fly around. We watched it with amazement at how well controlled it was and how stable. And Ellen's in the process of snapping it on the IMAX here, which came out quite well. We got to review that the other day. But Anatoly flew out of plane here, as you see him moving between the panels to a position about 60, 80 meters to the commander's side of the orbiter, I guess the port side, and station kept there while we prepared to do our undocking.
These scenes make the Soyuz look pretty small and look pretty far away. Let me tell you how close he looked when he was sitting out there. I guess he had a laser rangefinder, and you can see some of the jet firings here as he was holding attitude just right out the window. We felt like we could reach out and touch him because he was that close to us. His range, I think, was about 65 meters, but again, he looked very, very close as the actual time for undocking approached.
At about 3 minutes prior to the actual separation, I sent the command to open the hooks, and everything worked just like clockwork. That mechanism worked superbly. And there was a set of push-off springs that separated the two vehicles initially, and then at about 2 feet, Hoot initiated a separation maneuver, 4 pulses, to complete the SEP sequence. This is a view, I guess, from the Soyuz, looking at us as we do that undocking.
Of course, when we finally separated, the Mir-18 crew came up, waved goodbye. We had some exchanges on the VHF radio as well as we said sayonara. You're also seeing on the left there the Soyuz redocking. It was a little departure from our plan to dock an orbit later, but you can just see it start to close in there. Anatoly did an excellent job. I was in the commander's seat, and he flew from the port side to the starboard side of the vehicle and did a very smooth redocking.
As we completed that part of the fly around and got the photo there, we started a complete revolution around the Mir and got these real pretty views of the station. And here you can see it rotating. The folks on the ground were very interested to see views of the different sides of the Mir to see what kind of condition it's been in after a long exposure to space.
As Charlie mentioned, we flew all the way around the Mir, doing more than a 360-degree fly around, and finally got to a point overhead the Mir on what we call the -R bar, and did our final separation burn and started translating away from the Mir space station.
Well, shortly after that, we continued our work in the lab. Of course, one of the things that would be important for Norman and his crew members to do is to maintain their conditioning and anticipation of entry.
Here we are in the Crystal module, and you see the air hoses that provide ventilation, very important in zero gravity not to have dead spots, and we can reroute these hoses as necessary to change the airflow depending where the hot and cold spots are in the vehicle. That's a yellow oxygen tank we just saw on the left. There's a spacesuit on the right. This is a storage area, and you can see that we have to transfer all the 9,000 items down this corridor to get into the rest of the Mir space station. It's not very wide. There's the area I slept in above. We pull ourselves with sets of these bungees. You see that black bungee on the top. So we have prepared this area before the shuttle docked and cleared it. It's actually much more crowded than this during actual life. Storage lockers on the left, panels on the right. There are systems and storage behind all these panels. There's the treadmill above. That's really the floor. You might say we were upside down. We're approaching the node, the main node to which all the modules, 6 main sections of the station are attached. Now we're turning, literally turning, rolling into the base block. These modules are attached, so orientation is not necessarily the same in each module. And there's Andy. And we're spending our time transferring information. I'm making sure he knows where things are and giving him the tips I've learned in 4.5 months in space. And here we've turned to the Pyotr module. It's our main laboratory. It's mostly packed up at this point. I'd spent the last 2 to 3 weeks packing up items. So final preparations. There's the computer, very important, as many purposes for a laptop on orbit, including watching videos, which I had some, not much time to watch. But they were interesting as they impacted me strongly as an attachment.